Sear Pro asked me if I wanted to do something with their flamethrower, and I said yes. We're gonna make a gourmet meal for Endeavor. Now here's the challenge. I have a full steak dinner I do need to make, and we're only gonna be able to use the flamethrower, my knife, a couple of bowls, and a few ingredients. When I think of flame users, I think of Roy's Our Boy Mustang and Endeavor. And in this case, we're going to be using Endeavor's quirk to make our dinner. First up, charred corn, hatch chili, and roasted oyster mushroom slaw. For safety, put the corn on a skewer. What? How fast is that going? This takes no time at all. This flamethrower is insane. Oh, it's in my face. Look at that! Look at this corn! That's so good! Wow! I'm genuinely impressed. Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Corn, done. That happened a lot faster than I thought it would, and I'm genuinely happy about that. For that bit of spice of life, I'm going to be using hatch chilies. Now, we want to blister the outside, so this way we can peel them and put them into our slaw. Maybe we don't need to go all crazy. Let's go all crazy. This flamethrower torches this in no time, so make sure you're paying attention to it if you're doing this, and also don't do this at home. That's a little aggro. Make sure you char this all the way around and that a window is open. Beautiful! Look at that char! Now take those beautiful hatch chilies, place them in a bowl, throw a lid onto this, and let them steam for about 15 minutes while we work with everything else. Next up are those oyster mushrooms. We gotta torch them. One of my favorite ways of making oyster mushrooms is with garlic, butter, shallots over a high heat pan and just get them sauteed. But today is not that day because we have a flamethrower. With our mushrooms in butter in a cast iron pan, it is now time to torch them. We started off with the high heat flamethrower, then brought it down just to make them nice and tender. And once they were nice and tender, we brought that heat back up to give it some beautiful color on those mushrooms. Oh yeah, baby. Oh, get that char. Oh my goodness. I know he'd look so happy, but please don't try this at home. Oh God. After you've torched your mushrooms and gotten that beautiful color on them, we do need to season them with a heavy pinch of salt and a good amount of black pepper. After seasoning, blast it one more time. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous, Mr. Ramsay. I have to try one. Why is that good? Now I'm giving the blowtorch a minute to rest while we finish off this corn mushroom slaw. The corn mushroom slaw goes pretty quick at this point. All we need to do is remove some of that charred corn off the cob, throw that right on top of your mushrooms, then grab those hatch chilies and we do need to peel them. To peel these, all you need is a paper towel and make sure you just remove as much char as possible off of those chilies. This is going to reveal the softer flesh underneath and remove all of that charred bitter flavor. Remove the seeds from the inside of the chilies and then dice these to about the size of corn kernels and throw that all together. Make sure that this is fully tossed together to get all of those flavors incorporated, give it a taste, and realize that this needs a bunch of butter, and the only way to heat this up is again with this flamethrower. Oh, you hear the bowl? You hear the bowl? With the slaw done, we're going to move on to some starch, or in this case, we're going to be using some roasted cauliflower. We're going with cauliflower because really, you can't make French fries with a blowtorch, but we can torch some cauliflower steaks, and this is going to be a perfect accompaniment to everything else. Throw the cauliflower onto a heat-safe tray with a little bit of aluminum foil lined onto it just so you don't make a complete mess. Drizzle some olive oil right on top of that cauliflower to give it that beautiful flavor, and this is actually going to help brown the cauliflower. Season it with some salt and some black pepper, and then proceed with the torching. You know what to do at this point. Also, don't hold it with your hand like I am if you decide to do this. Make sure you have it on a stable surface because yes, this is a flamethrower. This gets very hot. Paul, why are you doing this on a cutting board? But since this is a thicker slice of cauliflower, after you torch the first side, make sure you give it a flip and then torch the other side just to make sure they're super even. Oh, there's the alarm. We did it. After dealing with the smoke alarm, I decided to wrap this with aluminum foil to help steam that cauliflower. This just gets to hang out until we're ready to plate up now. One of the garnishes is going to be a really nice heirloom tomato. The reason why I'm going with the raw, fresh heirloom tomato is because it's going to help balance out all of the other flavors. The tomato is going to add that fresh pop that we're really looking for. Plus, they taste like candy in the summertime. I diced up my tomatoes into really big chunky boys, garnished it with a bit of olive oil, and then finished it with some fresh thyme. With how delicious and fresh these tomatoes are, you could legit just have this as a bowl right now. Now for the final piece, our New York steaks. To sear these things off, I'm actually using some beef tallow that I had left over from my Witcher video. After scooping some of that beef tallow directly into that pan, we do need to heat this up because it's obviously a solid. Grab your flamethrower and get to work. I'm only going to season my steak with salt and black pepper to try to really bring out the flavor of that steak. Wait, glove first, glove first. I feel more comfortable with this thing on. I used my flame on ability on the pan just to make sure it was nice and hot, and as I'm heating up that beef tallow, I wanted to make sure I had my steak ready to go so this way I could place it directly into that hot fat. And after realizing my pan wasn't hot, I just decided to go for it and started torching this steak. Now remember, you don't want to go too long on the steak because this flamethrower is incredibly hot. I ended up searing each side for just about 2 minutes. Now the thing is when you cook steaks like this, you're applying a bunch of direct heat. Normally, I like to use indirect heat to cook my steaks in the oven and then finish searing them off because I feel like it gives them the best flavor. And again, a word of caution, this pan gets ripping hot. You can actually hear the sizzle on this steak. Do you hear the sizzle? Do you hear the sizzle? I plus ultraed that second steak so my wife had some dinner as well because I wasn't gonna eat this by myself. With the steaks ready, all the sides are done, it is time to plate this thing up. First thing on the plate is our corn, hatch chili, and mushroom slaw. Next up is that cauliflower that we roasted and steamed off earlier. I used a flamethrower to bring it back to life just so it wasn't cold. The cauliflower went right up against that beautiful corn slaw that we made earlier. And then finally, it's time to cut the steak and plate this thing up. Now I will 100% admit, I did not expect this flamethrower to produce a quality of steak like this. A lot of the steak was this beautiful mid-rare, some of the parts were medium on the verge of mid-well, and that has a lot to do with my suckage of using the flamethrower. I clearly don't have the same control as Endeavor when it comes to using flames, but I was really happy with the result. We made a steak dinner with a flamethrower. I have never done this before. I am overly excited for this. Lay that steak on the plate, grab some of your beautiful fresh tomatoes as garnish, sprinkle a small amount of lemon flaky sea salt because we have it, and because it's Endeavor, finish it off with some scorpion sea salt. This is gonna give it that kick that we really want. Give it one more blast of heat just because we can, garnish it with some fresh daikon sprouts, and now we have a meal made by and fit for Endeavor. I am genuinely surprised at how well that flamethrower worked. I didn't think we'd make any semblance of a decent meal. Granted, my plate up looks pretty trash, but I think it's the best we can do given the circumstances. Cheers. It's just a really nicely cooked steak. The one thing, the flamethrower doesn't render the fat as well as I would like. Okay. Now the cauliflower. Let's see how well it did that. A little al dente, but it is still very nice. Oh, that's so good. If I'm gonna be perfectly honest, this is a pretty great dish. I am going to absolutely finish it. Rachel's eating her plate upstairs right now, and she said it was pretty spot on. Now, would I recommend you doing anything like this with just a flamethrower? No, but in a pinch, this could come really in handy. Honestly, this is gonna be my go-to for camping now, so that way if I do want a steak, I can just hold it up and sear my steak or something, or just start the campfire. Thank you to Sear Pro for setting that out. Thank you for you guys for watching this crazy experiment. If you wanna see another great video, check out this other video, Beast and Barley from The Witcher. That one was really fun to make as well. My name is Chefpk, and remember, keep playing with your food.